Greetings, good people. Thanks for clicking on the video and welcome back. If you are new here, welcome. So today's topic is going to be about Megan Thee Stallion's defamation case. All right. Today is day one, November 17th, 2025, Monday, day one of the trial. So Megan Thee Stallion and Milagro Cooper, you guys know her as Milagro Grams, they showed up to court today. All right. And the trial has kicked off. Now, Megan Cuniff, who is a court reporter, she covered the Tory Lanez case and she covered a couple of other cases. She basically put together an article. She was on site in Miami and she put together an article. This is her perspective of what went down day one. All right. So I'm going to get into that. And I also want to talk about Tory Lanez. He was found in contempt. He, along with his lawyer, were both found in contempt because Tory Lanez does not want to sit for this deposition in Megan Thee Stallion's defamation case against blogger Milagro Gramz. So he was fined $20,000, and I think his lawyer was fined $5,000. So we're going to get into that. So before we get into those articles, please pay your admission fee by hitting the like button. Make sure you are dropping down in the comments and sharing your thoughts. I greatly appreciate it. So without further ado, let's first get into this Tory Lanez situation. All right. So this is according to the Jasmine brand, right? Tory Lanez and his attorney, they are found in contempt in the Megan Thee Stallion defamation case against blogger Milagro Grams, fined $20,000. So Tory Lanez and his attorney, right? They've been held in contempt of court in the defamation case, and Tory Lanez again was fined $20,000 for obstructing the deposition process after Megan's attorneys attempted to depose him three separate times, saying that he stormed out and used profanity during the most recent session on November 15th. What a big baby. You know, I call him Tory Smooth Brain Lanez. Anyway, so his attorney, Crystal Morgan, she was also fined $5,000 for her role in the issue. What a shame. So Lanez, he appeared unfazed by the penalties, reportedly saying, "I'll pay them. I'm a millionaire. I don't care." Now, according to reports, Megan's legal team attempted to question Smooth Brain Lanez about his communication and involvement with Milagro Grams, right? So what's being said is that basically Milagro Grams did all of this. She was paid to defame Megan Thee Stallion, basically before, during, and after Tory Lanez's trial. All right. So they're basically trying to get Tory Lanez to talk about how he met how he met Milagro Grams. How does he know her? What's his relationship with her? And he refuses to sit down and answer those questions. He insulted Megan Thee Stallion's, counsel. He just said some disparaging things, attacking their physical appearance, just immature and just dumb. And basically, Tory Lanez's lawyer couldn't control her client, so she was held in contempt and she was fined as well. Can you imagine representing someone who is just unhinged, immature, throwing temper tantrums and all that good stuff? I would be so pissed and I would drop him immediately. If I'm not mistaken, was it this was the lawyer that tried to, I don't know if this was the lawyer that tried to drop him, but they had to stay on the case. I don't know. There's so much paperwork flying all over the place. Either way, I would have been ticked off if I was his legal counsel and he refused to listen to me and I couldn't control my client to the point where I ended up being found in contempt and I got to pay a $5,000 fine. Ciao. Anyway, good luck. So he didn't sit for the deposition. Again, this is the third attempt, and the jury, because again, today's day one of Megan Thee Stallion versus Milagro Cooper. I'm just gonna say Milagro Grams. She's known on social media as Milagro Grams. The jury is gonna be made aware, or has been made aware, that Tory Lanez has been, fined, and he refuses to answer the questions and participate in the deposition. So, like he said, he's a millionaire. All right. Anyway, moving along. So court reporter Megan Cuniff, she has been on the scene, or she was on the scene, excuse me, and she caught up with Milagro Grams leaving the courtroom today. Now, I don't know if you guys are aware, but Milagro Grams does not care for Megan Cuniff. All right. I think there's enough evidence out there to support my statements. She has made some comments and she has accused Megan Cuniff of being biased and not reporting the news correctly when it comes to the Tory Lanez case, okay, that took place years ago. Anyway, take a look at Milagro Gramz coming out of the courtroom. Megan Cuniff is recording. There's a TMZ reporter recording, and Megan Cuniff is not saying anything to Milagro Gramz whatsoever. And if I was her, I wouldn't either. She said some foul stuff about this lady. Anyway, like to hear it, here it go.
Great, look at those my shoes.
Talk about that.
Where are the shoes from?
Dr. K said I'm a she and hoe, but these from Fashion Nova.
He asked her, where are her shoes from, right? Pointing out how nice her shoes are. And Milagro said, Tasha K said that I'm a she-in hoe, but these are Fashion Nova. Lord have mercy.
Cold, that's nobody cold.
How do you like Miami? How do you feel they're treating you in the trial?
And she said, Fashion Nova, I need a code. Fashion Nova, I need a code. So the court reporter is asking her, how do you like Miami?
But Miami is like, thank you. Miami is
It's not bad.
not bad at all. I love Miami.
I do like the music.
Thank you. I'll see you tomorrow.
And then see, this is the reason why I didn't play this from TMZ is because TMZ cut out some audio. So this is Megan Cuniff recording her. And as Milagro is walking away, you can hear Milagro saying, bye, Miss Cuniff. Now, you know good and well that that lady is not going to speak to you after some of the atrocious things that you said about this lady online. If you know, you know, okay? You guys know that Milagro Gramz, she does, go live on Station Head. She goes live on Twitch. She has YouTube, and she also has her Patreon. But years ago, when the whole trial was going down, the Tory Lanez versus the state of California trial, she said some wild stuff about this lady. So her saying bye Miss Cuniff is really interesting. So Megan Cuniff posted this to her Twitter, and I just reposted it. And the caption reads, Milagro chatted with a TMZ reporter on her way out. The goodbye Miss Cuniff she gave at the end is like a microcosm of the trial. So she basically, and then she goes on to say, like, is Milagro being is she being serious or is she being disingenuous? So she's trying to insinuate that Milagro is being disingenuous because after all that smack that you talked about this lady, you're gonna say bye Miss Cuniff. Anyway, so she also posted Megan Thee Stallion leaving. Like to hear, here you go.
How's it going, Megan? How's it going, Megan?
Now you can hear Megan Cuniff saying, how's it going, Megan? And Megan responded, how you feeling? If you watch this clip on TMZ, they cut out Megan Cuniff's voice. So that's why I decided to play it from here. From Megan Cuniff's page. So she's just pretty much saying that she's can't wait for the trial to be over, and then she's just saying thank you as they're complimenting her. She didn't give much.
Thanks for being so kind with the photographers today.
Oh, yeah. Thank you.
All right, good luck.
Okay, now I seen this footage first on Megan Cuniff's page. Now TMZ done snatched it up, but then again, no, they didn't, because they had that guy in the blazer with the bag, with the crossbody bag. I'm assuming he's the TMZ reporter. But yeah, so that's them leaving the courtroom. Okay, so for those of you who wanted to know who had on what and who was wearing what, there you have it. You see Milagro, and then you also see Megan Thee Stallion. I can't believe that girl said that Tasha K said, I'm a she-in hoe. She later posted onto her social media, Milagro Gramz that is, that she was giving Tasha K a shout out. All right, now let's get into this article, okay? So shout out to Megan Cuniff. Again, Legal Affairs and Trials with Megan Cuniff. This is her, her blog page. her website where she curates, articles. She did state on her social media that after being in court all day, it's much easier for her to just write an article, which I can appreciate because I like reading articles, rather than going live, because she's exhausted and she got to get up and do all of this all over again. All right. So again, this is Megan Cunif's perception, I guess, or point of view. Okay, so let's get into this article. Streamer being sued by Megan Thee Stallion testifies as first witness in defamation trial. All right, so that's the picture of Megan Thee Stallion leaving the courthouse today. Today, again, Monday, November 17th, 2025, is day one of the trial, Pete versus Cooper. All right. So let's get into this article. An online commentator testified Monday that she intentionally directed her followers to a digitally altered, sexually explicit video of rapper Megan Thee Stallion because the video was public and her followers were asking about it. She's talking about Milagro Gramz. Unfortunately, sex tapes are something of the public interest. It came up and I spoke about it. This is what Milagro testified. She was the first witness called to the stand, and Megan Cunif is recalling what Milagro stated while she was on the stand. Milagro testified as the first witness in a federal trial that accuses her of, I guess, coordinating with rapper Tory Lanez, who is in prison. He's been in prison for the incident with Megan Thee Stallion. All right. So Cooper is Milagro. So Milagro's lawyer said in her opening statement that Cooper, an online influencer known as Milagro Gramz, didn't publicize or share the video on her social media, which is key to Megan's claim that Milagro knowingly shared a digitally altered sexual depiction of Megan. The three other claims are defamation. Okay, this is what Megan is claiming: defamation, intentional infliction of emotional distress, and cyber stalking. So jurors later heard audio clips of Milagro telling her followers that she'd liked the video and posted, "Go to my likes." They also heard her question whether the video is real. This has got to be AI, Milagro said. So basically, when this video was circulating on social media, Milagro liked it on Twitter. Now, if you know, before they changed the rules, or they changed things up on Twitter, you can go to someone's likes, right, in the likes tab on their page, and you can see what content they liked. So Milagro at the time was telling her supporters and her viewers, "Go to my like." And Milagro also said, "This has got to be AI." Basically saying insinuating that she doesn't believe that it may be real. Okay. The jury of 5 men and 4 women saw the obscene video during Megan's lawyer's 20-minute opening statement. Before she played it, Megan's lawyer said that she wanted to acknowledge how disturbing this is. Imagine having to sit in court and watch this play for a room full of strangers. That's what we're asking Megan to do today, but you need to see it to understand what Milagro Cooper promoted. This is what Megan's lawyer said during the opening statement. Okay. And I looked up the firm that her lawyers are associated with, big wigs, man. They have like thousands of lawyers, 50 offices spread out all across the U.S. It's crazy. It's like a big law firm. Anyway, the approximately 45-second video included commentary from Milagro as she played it for the viewers on her live stream. Watch how this post jumped. "I just liked it and I tweeted, 'Go to my likes.'" Okay. So she's basically saying that watch how this post is going to get so much traction. She liked the post and she's directing people to go to her likes section so they can see the video that she admitted that she liked. All right. Moving on in the article, "I apologize to everyone in the courtroom for having to see that, especially to Megan." This is Megan's lawyer still, but Milagro Cooper made the choice to promote it. Megan's lawyer began her opening by playing audio of the gunshots that Tory Lanez fired at Megan on July 12, 2020. She told jurors he was convicted in December 2022, and the California Court of Appeal affirmed his convictions last week. She played an excerpt of Milagro discussing Megan that begins, quote, "At the end of the day, a B word lying on somebody is low down. So believe what the F you want to believe." Milagro goes on to say that she wants to, quote unquote, slap Megan. Oh my. This case is about someone who wasn't there that night. The defendant, Milagro Cooper. She didn't see the fear or the blood or the gun, but she saw something else. Her shot had the spotlight. You mean at the spotlight? I don't know. I'm catching some typos. So this is Megan's lawyer. You know, lawyers are very dramatic, especially in their opening and closing statements. This case is about what Milagro Cooper did with her shot at the spotlight. Megan's lawyer said that jurors will learn, quote, how she turned attacking Megan into her brand, how she coordinated with Tory Lanez and his team, how she built her platform by tearing Megan down, end quote. She said the case is not about whether Tory shot Megan. That has already been decided. He did. This case is about Milagro Cooper's continued effort to undo what's already been done to free Tory. The first thing Milagro's lawyer, Natasha, told jurors in her opening was, yes, Megan Pete was shot. But she said whether he did or not, that case, that tragedy, that happened in California. The plaintiff desperately wants to drive a California criminal trial across the country to replay it for you here in Miami, Florida. Now, this is Milagro's lawyer talking. So she goes on to say they want to talk about this criminal trial because there's emotions. It creates distraction because that's what they're trying to do, because they cannot prove this conspiracy that they are trying to pin on my client. Despite how vulgar it is, despite how colorful it is, despite how much profanity she uses, that's not a conspiracy. And that's why they're trying to prove. So she also said to jurors, Milagro's attorney, she said that jurors are going to see something happening deliberately throughout the trial. They're going to try to distract you. They're going to try to elicit sympathy. They're going to talk about trauma. They're going to talk about her emotions. Okay. And she says that Megan is allowed to feel anything that she feels. We're not saying that she's not allowed to feel. This courtroom is not saying that she's not allowed to feel. But tears are not proof. Okay, again, that's Milagro's lawyer. She emphasized that Milagro didn't publish the altered video of Megan and that she didn't know about it until her followers alerted her to it. She says that Milagro's job is literally to comment on things that her audience and reviewers want her to comment on. Frankly, she's not an AI specialist. The law does not require her to know what an altered video looks like. Ms. Cooper is no different than any of the millions of Americans online on a daily basis that are speaking their opinions, speaking about what they see, talking about what's being reported. Some of your favorite comedians would be sitting right next to Ms. Cooper if they were being held to the same standard that she's being held to by the plaintiff. She said that Milagro's lawyer said that Milagro is a mother, married for 13 years to her high school sweetheart. She's a believer. In college, she got straight A's while she was majoring in criminal justice. She's even gotten training in victim advocacy. It's not like she hates this woman and she's been all day, all night online just cyberbullying her. That's not the case. Miss Milagro, the real woman, has built a legitimate business. I just want to say about this, she is grossly either she's grossly misinformed or she's doing what some lawyers do and they're just BSing. She has indeed been, there was a time where Milagro was definitely talking about Megan Thee Stallion day and night and day, afternoon, tea time, lunchtime, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock rock, to the point where some of her supporters would even comment, oh, another Megan video? We tired of this. How many times you going to talk about Megan? Enough about Megan. I'm just saying. So I don't know if she's BSing or she's just grossly misinformed. Anyway, let's move along. This case is about commentary, not this conspiracy that they're trying to convince you of and trying to make you believe Miss Cooper's criticisms are protected. This is retaliation. So she's Milagro's lawyers, child. Listen, I guess they got to do their job. They're saying that Megan Thee Stallion is retaliating against Milagro. Anyway, so Megan's lawyer, John O'Sullivan, he basically asked Milagro about hearing the gunfire during Tory Lanez's trial, right? So he says, "Do you have an open mind on what had happened that night?" O'Sullivan asked. "Absolutely, I had an open mind," Milagro answered. "Okay, you thought Tory could be guilty?" O'Sullivan asked. Again, O'Sullivan is Megan's lawyer. "He could have been guilty based on the evidence that could have been presented when you go to trial," Milagro answered. "You hadn't already made up your mind that Tory was innocent?" O'Sullivan asked. "I had an idea of what I figured could happen, which would be speculation. But once again, it was imperative that I went to the trial," Milagro answered. O'Sullivan questioned Milagro about an IG post that was evidence in Lanez's trial, in which Lanez's account replies, "That's not true," to someone who says, "People saying Kelsey shot her." I remember that. That was circulating online. Okay, so someone posted, I forgot what post it was under, but one of the blog posts, someone said, "People saying Kelsey shot her," and Tory Lanez, or an account that was Tory Lanez's account, we don't know if it was him who replied, said that's not true. All right. Anyway, and as he tried to show a connection between her and Lanez, he asked her about her promotion of his music video Cap, in which he, Tory Lanez, is in a butcher shop chopping a horse leg with the HGS, the letters HGS, written on specials menu behind him. Megan refers to her and her phrase "hot girl summer." O'Sullivan seemed to be implying through his questioning of Milagro on Monday that she highlighted the horse's leg to promote the video in coordination with Lanez, but Milagro testified that she was merely advancing a question debated by her followers. "He was in a butcher shop. Who eats horses? So actually, I don't believe it actually was a horse leg," Milagro testified. "A lot of people were speculating," she continued. "When I'm doing commentary, it's not about what I want to talk about, because otherwise I'd sit up there and talk to myself. I have to make sure that I'm on the pulse with what my audience wants to talk about." Milagro spoke so fast that the court reporter typing a transcript of the proceedings stopped her several times, and the judge warned her, "This is not a video clip. This is not a podcast. Please slow down. She asked you several times." So the judge reprimanded her, because Milagro does talk fast when she's ready. But you see, it's for those of you who may not like Milagro, you can't deny that the girl is sharp. She's sharp and she's bright. This is why I have so many theories of, I guess, why she took this route. All right. But I'll save that for another day. All right. I'm just here to provide the information. She's sharp. You see how she's keeping up with the questioning with the lawyer, right? Anyway, O'Sullivan displayed text between Milagro and Lanez's father, Sunstar Peterson, from February 2022 about Milagro traveling to Miami. Milagro said that she was interviewing Peterson, and O'Sullivan asked if it's common for an interview subject to be paid by the person she's interviewing. Milagro said that it was, and said that their arrangement was, quote unquote, very custom. Milagro also testified she hasn't read the California Court of Appeals 46 pages affirming Lanez's convictions, which was issued last week. I am in a federal trial, and that's where my attention is," Milagro said. She also said that the ruling is of less interest because she's under a gag order in the case that prohibits her from speaking publicly about related issues, such as Lanez's conviction. So she can't talk about Megan. She can't talk about this trial. She can't talk about Tory Lanez. Nothing associated with any of this. All right, which is great, because they both had a gag order, so neither one of them, Megan or Milagro, could talk about it. And I'm glad that she stuck to that. Lord, I'm glad that she stuck to that and adhered to that. Anyway, O'Sullivan referenced one of his team's most valuable pretrial orders when he asked Milagro about missing text messages that a forensic technician analyzed before the trial. Jurors will be instructed at the end of the trial that Milagro deleted texts and the WhatsApp messaging service in violation of a legal notice. I did report on that. I did a video on that previously. Jurors also will be told that they should assume and infer Milagro intended to deprive Megan of the evidence in the deleted messages, that at least some of the deleted messages related to the claims in this case were about plaintiff, and that these deleted messages were unfavorable to the defendant, meaning they were not in Milagro's favor. They're saying that's why she deleted them. Now, she was instructed by the courts not to delete any evidence, any messages, any emails, anything. And she did. And forensics found out that she did. So the jury is going to be made aware of that, especially when it comes time for them to deliberate. They're going to have to take that into consideration. So the U.S. magistrate judge also ruled on Sunday that Lanez should be sanctioned $20,000 and his lawyer $5,000. We already read that, for their disruptive conduct during his November 14th deposition. So the magistrate judge's ruling recommends jurors be told that Lanez refused to answer 3 questions, and here they are. 1, how he first came to know the defendant, Milagro, whether Mr. Peterson communicated with the defendant, Milagro, and whether he sent Miss Cooper Instagram direct messages or text messages. So jurors have not yet heard about the specific questions that Lanez dodged in his deposition, but they heard a lot about Milagro's deleted texts during her testimony on Monday. So the judge overruled several asked and answered objections from Milagro's lawyer. I think she has 3 lawyers. This is the second one, Jeremy. As O'Sullivan is Megan's lawyer, questioned Milagro about the deletions that a forensic analyst identifies. He mentioned the multi-hour pretrial hearing and asked Milagro if she was denying she deleted text messages with Peterson. Is there anything you take accountability for in that? O'Sullivan asked. Milagro testified that she believes she saved what y'all asked for and said that she was not advised properly. It was not my goal or aim to ever try to deceive you guys, she testified. Milagro testified, I do feel that Megan got hurt, but the truth of what happened is indecipherable. And the case started to look like it doesn't matter what you present. Jurors also saw a text Milagro sent Lanez early on before his trial that said, I don't know how your energy is, but everything's been so crazy that I can only imagine. I don't know how you're going your life tonight. Okay. I don't know if that's a typo or not, but if you gave me that or any exclusive, it'll change my life. I've been dying to know why you asked for my number. Regardless of whatever you do and how you do it, you're not a throwaway. Oh, Milagro, please. No judgment holds weight to that of the Most High. I wish you the best, okay? So Milagro testified that she hoped Lanez would grant her one exclusive interview, but she maintained that he didn't influence her coverage of his case or Megan. The 9 jurors were seated in about 2.5 hours Monday morning. She said that she's going to have, Megan Cuniff said that she goes into having more information. Jurors were told that the trial will go until next Wednesday, and they may need to return the Monday after Thanksgiving. Hopefully not. All right. So this is just pretty much going into other documents or what have you before the trial, so on and so forth. So this is Megan Cuniff's synopsis of day 1. She was there, she was present, so she is providing pretty much a summary from her perspective as to what transpired. Now, I have taken a look at the court. I've been following this. I don't know why I didn't cover it on my channel in detail, but I have been reading the documents, okay? As far as the evidence, there's a lot of evidence. There's like 35, 36, 34, I think, pages of evidence that's not really in Milagro's favor. Also, there are going to be other people that take the stand. One being, if you guys are familiar with Milagro and her platform and some of the supporters and people who are affiliated with her platform. Her former best friend, King Noir, he is on the witness list. He's set to testify against Milagro. There's also another gentleman, I can't remember his name, but he is also scheduled to testify against Milagro, and he was a part of her her group, or her followers or what have you, and he has a separate lawsuit that he filed against Milagro for a completely separate incident. So this is just pretty much getting started. I think it'll be wrapped up by Wednesday, but if not, then they're prepared to go beyond Thanksgiving. If Thursday and Friday weren't holidays, I'm pretty sure by next week Friday they would definitely come to a conclusion. But I can see this being wrapped up by Wednesday. It all depends how everything goes. All right. So hopefully you guys will be keeping up. Hopefully this is something that you are interested in. This is a very long video. Either way, drop down in the comments and share your thoughts and let me know what you think. If you are subscribed, make sure you have your notifications on. If you are not subscribed and you are interested in keeping up to date with this, I suggest that you subscribe and turn your notifications on, okay? Because I'm definitely going to have my finger and my toe directly on the pulse of this case, and it'll all make sense later on, maybe tomorrow. All right, so that's all I got. Ain't got no more. It's just getting started. And hopefully there aren't any shenanigans outside or inside the courtroom. Today seemed to go pretty smoothly. The jurors were picked. First witness, first up, Milagro. I'm assuming that she will be back on the stand tomorrow. We shall see. And then Megan is going to testify. I don't know if Megan is going to be there throughout the duration of the trial, the entire trial. Maybe, maybe not. Who knows? We shall see. All right, y'all. So like I said, drop down in the comments and share your thoughts. Don't forget to like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel, all that good stuff. All right, I'm signing off. I love you for watching, and I will talk to you later.